I cannot do this without talking about maybe the worst kept secret in football, which is Trent Alexander-Arnold confirming that he's going to leave the club in the summer when his contract expires, and we all expect it to be Real Madrid that he joins. So much has been said about Trent over the course of the season, and now that his exit's been confirmed, you've seen all that emotion from fans, both positive and negative, and it's poured out in light of the news. But now that the news has been confirmed by Trent himself, how would you view the way he's conducted himself? Because I know Jamie Carragher has talked about how he feels a bit disappointed in Trent rather than feeling angry. And I don't think anybody would deny the contributions he's made this season or in the past. But to leave it so late, a week after the title, does it leave a sour taste in the mouth?
I don't know, really. I've seen a lot of kind of suggestions that some of the anger is generated by the way it's being done or the fact that Liverpool aren't getting a fee. But I don't really kind of buy into that, really, personally. I mean, I don't know what's the best way to leave your boyhood club. Jack Grealish left Aston Villa with a load of money and they still hate him to this day. He gets booed when he goes there. He set them up to get themselves in the Champions League and he's still disliked. Michael Owen left Liverpool for a fee, albeit a lesser fee, but he still left for a fee, and that didn't do him any favors in terms of how he was received after that, even prior to the Manchester United move. So I don't know what the way to do this would be that would make people happy. I just don't think that exists, and I think people are leaning on that really as an excuse to say this is why he's being disliked, whereas I think it primarily comes from a place of just being very disappointed that a very good player is going to a club that is a rival effectively, because Liverpool have been knocked out of the Europe by them 5 of the last 8 seasons, I think. So Real Madrid are a rival of Liverpool. There's no denying that. Not a club that everybody loves by any means. And also, the fact that he did make a big play, didn't he, of being a local lad who loves Liverpool. And if you're going to do that, you have to kind of live it rather than, turning and saying that you want to try this new experience. Albeit I'm someone who understands why he wants that new experience. So, it's a kind of confusing situation, really. I get the disappointment and I get the anger, really, and it's just, but it is what it is now. And my overriding feeling, I think, is kind of a sadness, really. You do have a local lad who's had this opportunity to come through at Liverpool at a time when they're winning trophies, and it's not meant enough for him to kind of stick around. I think that is sad. But yeah, it's done now, isn't it? As you say, that the worst kept secret's out, and he's got to kind of move on from that now and head out there. And Liverpool's job is to kind of move on themselves and find solutions to the problems that causes within the team. And how can they improve without Trent Alexander-Arnold? It's not easy because he's so unique. But we'll see how that kind of plays out.
You mentioned Michael Owen there, and I think that's really interesting because I guess the most apt comparisons to this situation would be Owen and McManaman, who both left Liverpool to join Real Madrid. But people have noted that they left in completely different circumstances. Like, for one, the teams they played in were not nearly as good as the teams that Trent's been part of. But nevertheless, they're not really regarded as fondly as perhaps their talent deserves. So is that a bad omen for Trent? Would he go down in history alongside them as another Michael Owen, another McManaman, who, despite their talents, they're not remembered as well as they would have liked?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, he has to accept that as well. Again, it's one of those things that's being discussed by people, I think, who are not close to it, who can't seemingly understand why there's a frustration there or why he now won't be a Liverpool legend. I mean, I think that's really obvious. As someone who, I don't feel anger towards it. Obviously, that would be, in my position, that would be crazy. But, even as a, speaking from a supporter's perspective, I don't think I would go down that route. But, it's so clear, even if you don't feel like that, you don't feel angry about it. Surely people understand why he's not going to be classified as a legend now, because he did make a big play of being the Scouser in the team and this being his club. And then he decided to go elsewhere at a time where Liverpool are competing for honours and they're competing against Real Madrid. And, I totally get his argument. It is a new challenge. You can't win La Liga at Liverpool. You can't live in Spain at Liverpool. It's not happening. So, you want to give that a go with your one career. But equally, he's a big boy. He acknowledges that there is a cost to that as well. And there's a cost to every decision. And the cost of it is to kind of taint your Liverpool legacy slightly. That is just what it is, because, I see people sarcastically suggesting, oh, well, you'll never walk alone. What does that mean? Well, it kind of means that when you're one of us, we're all together. But when you opt to leave, you aren't part of it, and his legacy won't be the same, and he will be more of a McManaman and an Owen than a Steven Gerrard or a Jamie Carragher. That's just a fact, and surely we, like I say, we just acknowledge that. So I think it is, it does massively taint his legacy, but that's surely being clear to him in this decision-making process. He's close enough to it to understand that, and close enough to it to Liverpool fans to know that. But I guess he's weighed up the cost benefit and decided that he still wanted to do it anyway. And that equally, that's something to respect, and that's absolutely fine. But as I say, there are consequences, and he just has to accept them now, and that's how it's going to be.
I will say in his defense, it's a really short footballing career. They don't stay at the top level for long. So I don't doubt for 1 minute that it was a difficult decision for him. But if fans are angry, I guess he can't complain too much.
That's exactly it in a nutshell, though. It's you totally understand the reasons that he's going, and I guess a lot of some Liverpool fans obviously won't. They're fuming about it, but you totally understand from a career perspective, from a lifestyle culture perspective. Fantastic move for him as an individual, absolutely. But you don't get to have your cake and eat it, which is you get to go to Real Madrid and still be this bona fide Liverpool legend. That is not how it works, unfortunately, for him. So he kind of just has to accept that. But that's that's life, isn't it? You make these decisions and you live or die by them. And then he's made his call, and now the consequences are coming, which is that he's he won't be seen in the same way at Liverpool. He won't be received back at Anfield in the way that he might have hoped. But that's life. That's it. That's the call he made.